Hello and welcome to EDC. This introductory video will focus on logging in and navigating efficiently within the application. We will start by logging in. We will take a tour of the interface. We'll take a look at browse mode, which allows us to switch between records. Then we will take a look at edit mode, which allows us to make changes to records. We will take a look at the right-click menu, which allows us to switch quickly between open modules. And we will finish by closing the application. Let's get started. The shortcut for EDC is a yellow box in front of a blue file. We will double-click on this icon to bring up the login screen. We can log in by typing in a username and password, or we can select our user from a list either by pressing F5 or by clicking the Select from List button. The list displays the employees that are currently authorized to access the system. Note that repeatedly entering incorrect passwords for a profile will cause it to become inactive, in which case a supervisor would have to go in and reactivate the profile by removing the termination date from the employee. We will double-click on our employee profile so that it's highlighted in black. Then we will press the Enter key or click on the OK button. This brings us to the main window of EDC. Notice that the title bar displays the building that we are logged into, in this case building number 1, as well as the employee profile that we use to log in. The employee profile will affect which modules we can access and what type of access we have to them, and will also be used in recording history of things such as orders placed, delivery creation, and data entry changes done to records such as boxes and files. The history of operations performed with the handheld scanner, called PDT for Portable Data Terminal, will be recorded according to who is logged into the PDT when the operations are performed, as opposed to who is logged into the software when the operations are uploaded to the computer. The functionality of EDC is grouped into modules. Most modules are associated to lists of records, such as boxes, files, orders, deliveries, and so on. Related modules are grouped onto tabs. The title of the currently selected tab appears in bold font. In this case, we are in the Inventory tab, where we can see modules that are related to inventory management. To help you to find the correct module more quickly, the documentation will often refer to the box module as the Inventory arrow box module, indicating that you will find it on the Inventory tab. The Customer tab contains modules related to account setup. Settings that apply to the whole account are contained in the Customer Information module, which is quite a large module. And supporting modules contain lists of things that an account may have more than one of, such as multiple authorized users, delivery addresses, document types, and departments. The Orders tab is where you'll perform most of your daily operations. These start with an order being created in one of many different ways, and progress through fulfillment of the order via picking, creation of the delivery, dispatch, and return of a delivery to the warehouse, followed by putting items away and making sure that everything got done properly. You can also image signed delivery slips, permitting your customers to view signatures online. The Management tab has modules for configuring the behavior of your record center. The biggest module is the System Information module, which contains settings that apply once for your entire record center. Many smaller modules permit you to configure lists of things such as employees, employee groups, or roles. The Accounting tab contains modules related to invoicing, as well as setting up pricing for things such as storing boxes and performing deliveries. The Invoicing module is where we will run our monthly invoicing, as well as create service-only invoices during the month, and if necessary, create blank invoices to add line item charges to bill for special projects. All of the price codes used in the system must exist in general pricing. We can also create line items, which can be added directly to the orders, and do other interesting things. Once a price code is defined, we can do things like override it in customer pricing for a specific account, and use them in defining the billing and service behavior of things such as delivery types and box types. Finally, the Maintenance tab contains other modules used in things such as maintenance operations. The most commonly used module in this tab is the Box and File Maintenance module, where we will create pre-add labels for boxes, and also import data for boxes and files, and import images in batch. This module also permits you to resize incorrectly sized boxes by uploading a move list, and move items between regular and vault storage. The Rebuild Space Usage module supports procedures for systematically re-inventorying your warehouse should this be necessary. We hope that you never need to use this. Completing our tour of EDC's main window, the pane to the right displays a list of open modules. We will see this in action in a few moments when we open up a module. Now, let's do so by clicking on the Management tab and using the Employee Groups module to explore Browse Mode and Edit Mode within a module. To open a module, double-click on the module's icon, or press the key corresponding to the letter underlined in the name of the module, in this case, M. Our module opens in Browse Mode to an individual record, in this case, the Warehouse Manager group. Some modules open to the last or the most recently entered record, while others will remember which record you were on when you closed the module. We recognize that we are in Browse Mode because the navigation buttons are active, while the Accept and Cancel Changes buttons are grayed out. The order in which records are displayed during browsing is determined by the search index. The Employee Group module only has one search index, in this case name. However, modules such as the Box module will permit you to browse in many different ways. Pressing the previous button will bring me to the previous record. In addition to buttons, there are several other ways that we can access functionality. Clicking on the Find menu reveals another way of accessing the same functions. You can navigate by clicking on Menu Options, but many menu options also have keyboard shortcuts, which are listed to the right. One of the most commonly used keyboard shortcuts is Ctrl+S, which will display the records of a module in a list view as opposed to one record at a time. If you use a function a lot, it is worth memorizing the keyboard shortcut, which you can find by looking up in the menu. Here we see our list of employee groups defined at this record center. We will double-click on the data entry record in order to navigate to this employee group. Browse Mode enables you to navigate between records, but not accidentally make changes to them. In contrast, Edit Mode lets you make changes to records, but does not let you switch to another record without either canceling or saving your changes. Let's take a look at Edit Mode. Several equivalent methods exist for getting to Edit Mode. We can click on the pencil button, we can select Edit from the Edit menu, or we can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+E. We are now in Edit Mode. Notice how the navigation buttons are grayed out, but the Accept and Cancel buttons are now active. Also notice how I can now change the value in the Modules field. When the value in the Modules field is set to partial, I can click the drop-down list here to select which modules the employee group will have access to. Note that this is generally not necessary since the employee groups are predefined, but you can modify them if you wish to do so. The four types of access are Scroll or View, Edit, Add, and Delete. Note that if certain operations are not possible on a certain module, giving a user group access to this type of function will not have any effect. If I select one or more modules and click Edit, I can modify the value for each of these operations. As you would expect, clicking the Add button will enable you to give access to more modules. In this case, I don't actually want to make any changes, so I will cancel. I will leave Edit Mode by clicking on the red X or by pressing Escape. Notice how my navigation buttons become active again as I leave Exit Mode and enter Browse Mode. Finally, let's take a look at navigating between modules. Notice how when I have the Employee Group module open, it is also listed in the list of open modules. When I close it, it disappears from this list as well. Next, I'm going to open an instance of both the Box module and of the File module, and then show you some navigation between them. A more efficient way of switching between open modules is to right-click, bringing up a context-sensitive menu. Notice how all currently open modules are listed in the order in which they were opened. If we had multiple box modules opened, then multiple box modules would appear in this list. We can also use this menu to open a new instance of one of several commonly used modules. Now let's finish up by closing out of EDCRC. If we have modules open when we exit, we will receive a message confirming whether or not we want to close out. Note that if you have modules open in edit mode, you will be prevented from closing without first saving or canceling your changes. Well, that's it for navigation. I hope that you will find this information useful in navigating within EDCRC.